So when I was about 12, me and my mom and my big brother moved into a house that was about 20 miles away from the nearest town. Seeing that my mom didn't have a car at the time, and my big brother wasn't old enough to drive, that meant I had to take a taxi to school every day. But when my mom went looking for taxis for me to take to school, they all came out with lame excuses like, "Oh no, that's way too far for me to drive," or "I can't, I'm busy every day." But finally, after hours of looking online, she found this one guy who was willing to take me to and from school every day at an extremely low price. So a couple of months had passed, and I was getting ready for bed, excited. Which I had first lesson. So I hopped into bed. Oh, and by the way, my bed was facing the window, as I liked it because it helped me sleep for some reason, like it always had, my mother would say. It was a normal morning. I had got up, brushed, and had to take a shower, and then I would play on my phone for a couple of minutes, waiting to hear the taxi pull up, as it did before. I could get on my feet. There was a large man, about 6'7", that stood at my door. I'm pretty sure that I nearly fainted in horror when I heard this banging, just to find out that was my taxi driver. He did the same when I arrived home as well, which was strange for him because he was a very quiet man who'd never say hi or bye, and I was fine with that because I'm pretty shy myself. I was about to slam the door behind me just to make sure it shut properly when I saw the taxi driver's foot back open the door and his deep voice say, "Is your mother home?" "Yes," I replied in shock and shouted her from the room opposite of hers. The room she was sat in was with my brother. I sat in my bedroom whilst they spoke, so all I could hear was my brother's trembling voice, like she nearly screaming in fear, and the big taxi driver's deep voice. We moved out a week later, and my mom never told me why or what they spoke about until a few days ago when I asked her, and she said the taxi driver had arrived 10 minutes early and claimed he had not seen a small man about 5'9" with a knife clearly down his sleeve and a camera held firmly in his hand, next to plastic bag swinging off a strap of his chest. The taxi driver did try to catch him, but ended up grabbing the bag, ripping it off the man's chest. He said it was full of pictures of me and my mom. They never heard from the guy, but gladly I had to get my coat and the taxi driver pulled up, or I would have witnessed it all and probably would have been scarred for life. So this guy who took pictures of my mom, let's never meet again. Number 2. I live in a small community called Stellington in Canada's Nova Scotia province. I am 13 now, but at the time this takes place, I would say I was around 9 to 10 years old. Nothing much really happens here, but this bit scared me enough to share. If so, around 2012, I would be downstairs watching TV and shows I'm way too young for, like Family Guy. I looked at the window in my living room and saw once what was a black coat hung up, but I'm not so sure anymore. I ignored it. It was only there in the night. 2 months later, it was there again, and this time I saw it move. So I thought someone was watching me, and I slept down somewhere else and closed my blinds. Of course my dad would open them when I am sleeping, and I walked up to G.R. Sanders Elementary School. The house blinds would always be closed one night. I always saw nothing there. The next moment, I saw someone dressed in all black. I could not see the face. Looking into my house, I again sat out of view in June 2012. I went up to a family visit in Jarnarda Platerie, located in Alberta Province, and nothing happened up there. Of course, when I went back to Stellington around 2013, I saw it again. I got a look at this face, and I swear I saw him smile. I pretty much shit a brick when I ran out of the room, until I got the courage to go back in the room. It was again just him wearing black, and his face again the next morning. When I went to school, the blinds were closed, but I still ran to school as fast as I could. It has been 3 years since whoever lived there moved out, and nothing happened since I had gotten over this experience. I most of the time always stay home alone, and still wonder if he ever decides to enter my house. Number 3. So this is one time me and my friends call him Dave. We were walking home from the park at around 8 o'clock during winter, though it was dark. Anyway, me and Dave were walking back to my house when Dave said, "Dude, you see that guy? I saw him in the park, and he's been following us." I looked back, and he's right. We started to walk faster because there's no one else outside, and there are hardly any street lights. As we walk faster, Dave looks over his shoulder and looks at me wide eyes. "Run!" "What?" I say, "Frickin' run!" I look over my shoulder, and the guy looked like he had a gun, and I was running at us, a gun pointed at Dave, most likely because he was taller and stronger than me. Weakened like hell. I didn't hear gunshots, though, when we were halfway to my house. I hear it, Dave screaming in agony. He had been shot in the lower eye. I turn around. The guy was 50 feet away. I get down, grab his throwing knives, and give him a hatchet knife or a curved knife. And I start throwing knives. I hit him in the leg and then the arm. He had the gun and it drops it, nearly throwing it. And I run to get it. By the way, I'm 15 years old. I grab the gun, a Magnum, looks like 32 caliber, and I shoot him in the shoulder. And I run, help Dave up, and we run entire back home. We hear footsteps behind us. Get inside my house, and Mom calls the police. Turns out that guy almost passed out from blood loss. It was so easy to arrest him. And don't worry, Dave was alright. It barely missed his bone.